Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your girl, the Real True Divine Feminine here, and I come with a quick little message for you guys. And my message to you guys is this: the same way you fight to stay in a relationship that God is telling you to let go, the same way you fight for that job that's paying your bills that God is telling you to walk away, the same way you fight for the people to stay in your household that God is telling you to release, it's the same way you need to fight to get to your destiny. It's the same way you need to fight to fulfill your calling. It's the same way that you need to fight to honor the contract that you signed to get here. Some of you guys are walking away from things that God is telling you to stay and work on. Some of you guys are let me see how I can say this, are not grown enough to accept some things that you have done in your life, accept the consequences of these things, and accept that you owe somebody an apology. A lot of you guys are not willing to do what God has called you to do or called you to be. Some of you guys running around here right now musically inclined. God has called you to the music industry to make music, but instead you want to chase tail. Some of you guys, God has called you to be architects. You can draw out this world, but instead you rather drug it and thug it. Some of you guys, God has called you to do ministry work, but you rather run around here being messy and not being what God has called you to be. Some of you guys, God has called y'all to be choreographers, but y'all out here doing all kind of other stuff. Take a moment today to reevaluate your life on what God has called you to do and how God has called you to move. And then after you reevaluate your life, sit down and see how you can improve, how you can get to these things that God has showed you that is for you. Some of y'all walking into the wrong calling. Y'all have a calling to work with children, a calling to be a counselor, some of y'all to do hair. Some of y'all need to pray to get the spirit of procrastination and laziness off of y'all. Pray that God removes the scales from your eyes so that you can see things. Some of y'all into some major illusions when you think you're winning, but you're really not. You think you're succeeding, but you're really not. If you're not out here living your life 100% how God wants us to be happy, I'm talking about happy, you're not doing it right. And you have to learn how to do it right. You have to accept some things. It's going to be some things you have to clean up. It's going to be some things that you have to let go. But it's okay, because whatever you have to let go, God will give you double for your trouble. He'll replace double for your trouble. If we talk about it biblical, let's talk about Job. Job lost his cattle. He lost his children. He lost his house. He lost these things. But he got it all back. See, sometimes we have to lose things. You heard me? Lose things, lose people. We have to do this for God to get us where we need to be. Now, I'm not saying that Job's children was holding them back. I don't know. It ain't tell me that. But what I do know is sometimes we got to come from amongst some folks. Sometimes we got to release some folks. Sometimes we got to love some folks from a distance. Because sometimes, just sometimes, the ones that's close to us be the main ones hindering us from being what we need to be, from reaching our full potential. A lot of times we don't want to accept things for what they are. We'll make 50 million excuses on why that person wouldn't do this or why that person wouldn't do that, when that person did everything that we thought they could not do. They did it. And we as people, we have to learn to be willing to let people, places, and things go when it no longer serves us. If God is allowing you a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance to get it right and walk into your calling, step into your calling, the reward of being obedient is better than anything that you can get. He supplies all your needs. If you don't think that God know you need a car because you're tired of spending money on an Uber and you're tired of begging and borrowing from rides, I'm here to let you know, baby, you don't know him. Because he knows everything you need. And in his time and his season, he going to apply that to you. If you think that God don't know that you need a bigger house because y'all cram and it's not working, God knows. But in his time, right in the right time, God will send a house into you, a person into you, financial advisor, whatever it is that you're standing in need of, he will send it. But you just have to know that his timing is not our timing. And everything is predestined in our life. Some of us it's times when we become mothers. Some of us it's time when we step in and we raise other people's children because God never blessed our womb. Some of us it's time to adopt. Some of us time to give birth. Some of us it's time to be married. And some of us it's time to just stay single. Some of us it's time to step in our calling, and some of us it's time for us to clear up our karma. It is what it is. You just got to accept what it is at this time. Accept the things that you cannot change. And there's a lot of things that you're not going to be able to change. But before you go looking to change anything outward, change within you. Change the things that you need to let go. You need to release. You need to forgive. Because your trauma can hinder you from walking into your calling. The enemy will use your trauma to remind you why you shouldn't go and be obedient and start this business with someone God has told you to. Why you shouldn't go back to school. Why you shouldn't do this. He'll give you 50 million excuses to hinder you, to push you backwards. You're not a baby anymore. Take your stand. Some of y'all watch me 50, 60, 70 years old still trying to figure out your calling. When God has showed you buku of signs of synchronicities and you don't want to accept what he has told you. You don't want to accept what he has showed you to do. Then you get mad at the messenger. When God has showed you all kind of signs and synchronicities of what he needed you to do. Get it together. Get you together. Step into your calling and be who God has called you to be. The way you fight for money, status, relationships, homes, just unnecessary stuff that you can't take with you. Fight to be the best version of you. Fight to walk into your divine calling. Fight to get to your destiny. It's your girl, the Real True Divine Feminine. I don't know who that message is for or who needs to hear it. But I pray it helps who it needs to help and reach who it needs to reach.